Thank you for watching my channel. When I created this channel, I wanted to discuss all the medical issues that those with autism have and will face in the future. And it turned into something much larger than I expected. So I'm changing the name, Navigating MIA, the medical implications of autism. Let's get into it. I'm curious what your response will be when I ask you to write a few sentences below and tell me what you think autism is and perhaps the cause. Short and sweet, just a few sentences. I know I can go off in a tangent and talk for a long time about things, so a couple sentences explaining to me what you think. This video is going to talk about my son's issues and what's been happening with him so you can have the background. And if you don't mind, I'm going to use my notes because when I'm talking about autism and my son, I can go on many topics and I could be here for hours. So I'm trying to specifically in this episode talk about my son's issues so you can have the background. And I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because the video would just be too long. So I'm just going to give you a broad background and then gradually I will fill in some of the missing pieces for you. Because my son is 25 now and so he's older with autism. That's why I wanted to share some of these with you today. My son was born in 1998 and was diagnosed in 2000 at 2 years old with autism. The doctor said, and I'll never, and most people do not forget this, the doctor said, take him home and do what you can because there is nothing you can do. Yeah, so unfortunately I don't know that that message has changed that much today, 23 years later. So 23 years ago, they knew very little about what to do with autism. And again, not much of that really has changed. My son had all the symptoms that go with autism, the hand flapping, the toe walking, the tantrums, meltdowns, no play skills. He was a very difficult child. I did manage to potty train him at a fairly normal age. That was one complication I did not want as my child got older. And we did many of the interventions that we were told should help, but our kids' immune system was on fire. Many of these kids, especially the severe, cannot tolerate all the supplements, causing even more inflammation than they already have. And unfortunately, even many of the foods cause these reactions. That's why many of the functional doctors you go to, they give you all these supplements because your child has all these deficiencies, but their bodies cannot handle it. Anyway, my son was in and out of school. He could not tolerate the environment, nor could they teach him anything. So we taught him at home. He was very capable of learning. And what he's learned, he reads phonetically between the grade 2 and 3, I'd say. Same thing with math, and he can write cursive writing, and he has functional language.
I lay down in my bedroom.
Very good. Number 2?
Grass. I cut the grass.
Great. 3?
Leaf. The leaf is on the ground.
Awesome. And so fast forwarding a bit, his best years were between 14 and 19. He was playing tennis, which my older son has always played tennis. He was a Division I tennis player for college. And I always took my son and we watched him play. And I would never know if Donovan was watching or not. But sure enough, when he was doing well, I thought tennis would be really good for his hand-eye coordination. So I asked one of my son's old coaches if he would work with Donovan, and he did. And Donovan was a natural. He picked it up. You would never know by looking at that anything was wrong with him, which I think is unusual for someone that's diagnosed with severe autism. So he was playing tennis. He had tutors at home, but overnight, then he started with a grand mal seizure. He had uncontrollable movements. He was screaming, paralyzed left arm, and then after that, he had massive weight loss. It was very serious. We went to 2 hospital emergency rooms, Barnes and SSM in Fenton. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, for anybody not in the area watching. But we were turned away. The nurse at SSM said, well, we were just trying to bypass the system instead of seeing, go see a regular doctor. Not because my child was sick or anything. You won't believe how many rude and uncaring medical professionals are in our medical system today. It's astounding. Anyway, I believe Donovan's issues were pathogens. So I flew him to Mexico, to a place called Lyme, Mexico. Now, Lyme never even entered my mind at that time. I got him plasmapheresis. I was just trying to stabilize his condition. And plasmapheresis cleans out your blood, kind of lessens the toxins and pathogens, so I can have some time to find out someone that could help him. Fast forwarding over the next year, my son was diagnosed with PANS, Panda, Strep, Lyme, Bart, Epstein-Barr, HHV6, you name it. He had it. And though we've been working on his issues for the last 5 years, we're not where we want to be. But I do think now I have some good doctors that are going to get us there. So I'm excited for that. But for those that don't believe autism is an autoimmune or metabolic disorder, here's what's going on with my son's Donovan's body today. Most kids with autism have blood sugar issues, whether you realize that or not. And most likely the pancreas is involved. My son has a cyst in the pancreas, GAD antibodies, which attack the pancreas, but also can be neurological. He has both. C-reactive protein is low, which is an insulin marker. So we're in the diabetes arena, whether it's 1 or 2, probably 1, or autoimmune diabetes, not sure which. Has not been diagnosed with that yet. My son has a pericardial effusion, water around the heart, a deep venous anomaly in the posterior of his frontal lobe. That's kind of a new development, and I think he's had it his whole entire life, and it was not found. And that can be the instigator of many, many things. So I'm in the process of working on getting that looked at. He has esophageal issues, trouble swallowing, and a narrowing of the esophagus. And most recently, has a spot on his lung. But if this altogether isn't some kind of systemic disorder, I don't know what is. So why am I telling you this? Because I believe moms and dads, this could be your child in 10 to 15 years if something drastic isn't done. I've had many of the tests done on my son out of my own pocket and around his doctors, because his doctors will not check, will not test. If they would do the necessary lab work and the tests on all of our kids, there would certainly be some commonalities that would help in treatment for these kids, but they refuse. So that is going to be up to us to take that into our own hands. So I'm going to leave you with this today, and next time we will go further down this rabbit hole. But have a blessed day.